Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, this is Boisterous coming to you with some Masters League Magnificence out of the map Polar Night. Spawning up here in the top corner of the map, we do have NoN's forsakeNXE. Man, that N just completely threw me off. I thought it was two N's. It's confusing. And down here in the bottom side, we have Calm as the Blue Zerg player. Anyway, we are going to have a TVZ on Polar Night, a matchup that I have not seen much lately because, you know, I've commentated like 4 games since I got back to commentating. You know. Woohoo! Go, not keeping up with the meta game. Oh, yeah. So I'm just going to call shit as I see it down the line. There's going to be absolutely no speculation in this cast. At all, actually. Like, literally at all. There's going to be absolutely no speculation. It's going to be a ton of fun. For all of us. We have a supply depot going down. I'd expect maybe a barracks after that. Maybe some gas thrown down in geysers after that. But I'm not too sure. I mean, the only Terran player I've seen since I got back, again, did not build gas. He actually just built 16 barracks and went mass marines and somehow won a TVP. Oh, Shadow Wraith, how did you manage that? I still don't understand. That was the last video. That was on Wednesday's video, but it was stupid. You should go watch it if you haven't. So anyway, we are going to have both of our players just checking out right now. It looks like Calm is going to be going for a 15 hatch, which I've heard is pretty standard. You know, it's something I like to do. And it's something that I've liked to do for the last, like, 14 months. Literally, if I wasn't 14... Oh, we actually have a no gas fast... This is a really FFE from the Forsaken. I mean, no racks fast expand. That's kind of crazy. Usually you see like somebody go racks and then no gas fast expand, but no racks fast expand is ballsy to a whole nother level. Now, of course, this might just be the fact that Polar Night is a fucking massive map, like literally just massive. So unless Calm was literally just blind 6 pulling, he would be perfect. Forsaken would be perfectly fine. And honestly, if someone's blind 6 pulling, you can typically fight them off anyway, because the blind 6 pull wouldn't get here until probably about right now. So the barracks will be halfway done. He has plenty of SCVs to fight it off, and as a Terran player, SCVs of course do have 5 more health, so it gets a little bit easier. He might have to sack the command center, but I feel like he would be able to defend this reasonably well, even versus a blind 6 pull. I mean, it would not be that big of an issue. So anyway, we are going to have the barracks from forsakeNXE finishing up right here, and I'm still calling him forsakeNXE because screw you, dude. This is a bad name. It's a bad name for commentaries. I actually don't know who submitted this game because this was just from the casted subreddit. So if Forsaken, if this is your game and you're watching right now, your name sucks. Just by the way, it's horrible. I'm sorry about that, but it's true. I try to speak the truth on this channel, and that's kind of just how it rolls. So anyway, we are going to have Marines just shooting at plates right now. You know, always a good decision. You want to get those plates out of the way. You never want to click on those in the heat of battle. Man, I've seen that happen before on like game 6 of a best of 7. And it's just like he loses the game and goes to a 7th game because he accidentally shot at plates and let banelings hit all his units. And it's like, oh, no. It was really sad. Kind of hilarious, but also really sad. Nah, it was mostly hilarious. Anyway, we are going to have a Baneling that's spawning up here for Forsaken for Calm. God, I just want to say Forsaken a lot. I don't know why. Me thinking about that guy's bad name just makes me want to say it all the time. Anyway, the Baneling Nest is going to be happening right now, along with Metabolic Boost for those Zerglings coming down. And we do have a bunker finishing up for Forsaken. This should be a pretty easy spot for him to defend now. Of course, the Baneling Bust might be coming in, and that Baneling Bust can, of course, be quite dangerous. It looks like only 4 Zerglings are coming in right now. Plus the 2 that are already out on the map. So I wouldn't expect anything too crazy yet. However, as a Zerg player, I mean, there's always that danger that he can just turn that entire production cycle right into Zerglings, and suddenly you have a full army of Zerglings right at your front. Now, of course, that's not going to be happening right now, as we do have 6 drones on the way, and honestly, 16 Zerglings, which is the amount he could make after both of these hatcheries make. Isn't that scary? It looks like we are going to see a Roachborn, though. And that's going to be interesting. I could definitely see a Roach Baneling Bust coming out from this player right now, especially considering the fact that he does not even seem to be posturing for a 3rd base. Now, of course, you know, 3rd bases are also kind of awkward to get on Polar Night. Personally, I prefer this one. Actually, they're not that awkward to get at all. Boisterous, what are you talking about? This is a perfectly safe 3rd base. it kind of means that you have to split your units between your natural and your third, or at least kind of put them awkwardly like right here, and then have to run around. But you know, Blizzard trolling. I don't understand that comment at all. Alright, so anyway, apparently Blizzard has been trolling. Calm. I don't understand this comment at all. I'm so confused right now. What? Calm, how is Blizzard trolling you? Alright, I'm not even going to bother with that one. Alright, it looks like the Hellions are going to be moving out for ForsakeNXE. And we are going to be seeing some level of attack go on. We are, of course, having a massive production round from Calm going into Roaches and Zerglings. So we are going to be seeing a Baneling bust happening right now. Of course, at the same time, we are going to have 6 Hellions rolling in, but they are going to be forced to retreat and run back and help defend. And this is not going to be a great situation for our red Zerg player, or for our red Terran player, unless he can really pin this up. And it looks like he will not be able to. There are, of course, 9 Banelings on the field, and it only takes 4 of them to bust down this type of wall. And he's going to be in quite a or 5 of them, excuse me. And he's going to be in quite a dangerous predicament, as we are going to see this army rolling up. And yeah, everybody rolls in. It looks like all those Marines are going to fall, and we are going to have a massive engagement happening at the front of Calm's Forsaken's base. It looks like with some good bunker placement, just the last second, he might be able to get out of this one. However, there are Banelings rolling up, but oh my god, the Roaches ruining the chances of the Banelings actually destroying that bunker. The bunker will go down to a massive Roach force. However, with a couple of Widowmines out right now, he should be able to hold. He should be able to hold at least his main, although it will still be a rough fight. Did he see those Widowmines? Yes, he did. He knows that they're there. He got one of them to activate, but will he get the other one? That is the massive question right now. He really needs to draw that one out, and he will. There we go. The second Widowmine will go down, and he should be good to force his way up the ramp right now. We do have an Engineering Bay going down. Actually, a couple of Engineering Bays going down, just to block off as much as possible. And it is going to be extremely hard for a Zerg player to bust through this ramp, purely because of all these buildings that forsakeNXE is putting down. Actually, a very smart play for my Terran player. He will get busted right here, and it looks like Calm will be breaking in. The bunker will stand for a little bit longer. All of the SCVs will be getting pulled. Will they get there in time? They will just barely get there in time, and we will have a small defense happening around this bunker. It looks like the bunker will be saved, as we do see Roaches getting pushed back at this point, and at the same time, we have Calm moving on and building a third hatchery. And just expanding out and preparing to go into the next phaseless game. But honestly, that was an amazingly good attack for Calm. If we just look at units lost, 20 workers killed for Calm. That is a huge number of workers. If we just look at units right now, he's down 20 workers. He was like even with the Zerg player just because of how hard the Zerg player went into that attack. But Calm definitely made it pay off, and he definitely pulled it off in such a way that he just tore through his opponent and was perfectly fine. Anyway, we are going to see Calm starting to tech up. He is going to be getting that layer. This is a pretty late layer along with a pretty late third base. But again, with how he's been playing this off, he should be pretty comfortable with that. Now, of course, Forsaken will be keeping up at even base numbers, which is okay, except for the fact that he does not have any workers to stock any more bases than 1. Like, he can literally stock like 1 extra base, and that's pretty much it. There's not a whole lot else he can do. It looks like we are going to have the Zerglings actually seeing this third base, and they will be able to do some nasty stuff to that in the near future. It looks like a large Zergling run-by will be moving up there. It's not really run-by. They didn't actually run by anything. They were kind of just a Zergling run up to the orbital command. It looks like that third base will be prevented at this point. However, with a large Bioforce, he should be able to take that back quite easily. Although he is quite scared of another Baneling attack, because if his Bioforce gets caught out of position, I mean, nasty stuff can happen to a Bioforce that gets caught out of position against the Zerg player. Just nasty, horrible stuff that I don't want to talk about, to be perfectly honest. It's something that... Alright, so anyway, we are going to have Creep Tumors going down for Calm at this point. He's going to be spreading his influence on the map, but of course he is going to have a very, very limited sphere of influence just because of how late he got into this. I mean, he spent so much of this early game worried about that early attack that, I mean, he managed to do enough damage where he's not really behind for it, but I'm not quite sure I'm really not sure if he came up. Granted, he is up quite a few workers, but that's kind of what you would expect at this point. I'm not sure if he really gained any ground by going for that early attack. He kind of just delayed the game by 4 minutes. Because, honestly, I mean, he was never at a point where he was up a base versus the Terran player, which is something that every Zerg should aspire to be. And he's actually going for a second run by, oh, Forsaken. You gotta hit R on those walls, man. You gotta hit R on those walls. That is going to be a massive issue for Forsaken, as he is going to lose another clump of workers. And if you look at the units killed, he is now up to 35 workers lost. Now I can comfortably say Calm pretty far ahead. He's doing pretty okay. He's pretty comfortable with this. We are going to have quite a few Mulisks popping out for Calm at this point, and those Mulisks are going to be extremely annoying, although it is an interesting choice. Because honestly, at this point, if I was Calm, I would just be building up an actual army. Because the thing about Mulisks is that they're really great for getting ahead, but Calm's already pretty freaking far ahead. I mean, it's nice, however, with Widow Mines and with Marines at where they are right now, it's also pretty easy to fall behind because of Mulisks. And we are going to see these Mulisks get damaged quite a bit by these missile turrets, and actually 2 of them will die, and that's what I'm talking about. I mean, losing those Mulisks is a pretty major dent to your army, and if he had just been teching up the Ultralisks or teching up the Broodlords, he would have been in a much more comfortable position. However, we are going to have this army moving out from forsakeNXE. We do have 12 Banelings on the way, and those 12 Banelings are going to be extremely dangerous. Do they have centrifugal hooks? I'll be amazed they don't have centrifugal hooks. That's not a good move by Calm. It looks like this hatchery might be going down here. I mean, the Banelings are going to be on their way, but they are going to be moving extremely slow, and there the hatchery will fall. And this is actually a pretty bad situation. We have some nice Marine splits happening right now for forsakeNXE. However, though, it's just not quite enough. There's just too much surge here. But honestly, I mean, losing that army, losing the medevacs makes that army a little bit too costly for that trade. But if he had managed to keep those medevacs alive, he would have actually been in a pretty nice spot, honestly. It looks like he will be able to snipe the Overseer, and that will force Calm back, because there's no way Calm wants to go into the territory of the Terran player without an Overseer. That's kind of just a death wish for half your army, because those Widow Mines can be amazingly scary. And not a lot of people have the control of, you know, top tier Zerg players where they just always have a Zerg hanging out in front of their army, because those guys are insane. We are going to see 20 Banelings on the way right now for Calm, and these 20 Banelings are going to be exceedingly difficult to deal with for Forsaken. However, I mean, he does have the Widow Mine numbers where he can pull these off, and they are spread out nicely. And I could see this happening where Calm manages to die here, but oh, Forsaken is really lopsiding his defense right now. He's really trying to defend this ramp, but that ramp is not the only way for his opponent to get to his base. Oh, but it looks like it's the way that his opponent wants to get to his base. An interesting choice here. That is a large clump of Banelings. They have not yet run into a Widow Mine. However, they are going to run into quite a few Marines, and those they are not going to be able to get close enough to the Marines. And oh my god, did every Mutalisk just go down? Calm. You can't let every Mutalisk die like that. This is what I'm talking about. If you don't have like a really solid army on the ground, Mutalisks are actually an exceedingly risky endeavor, especially when you're playing against a Terran player that can just go for Marines and Widow Mines. I mean, Calm was comfortably ahead in this game, but if we look at the unit count now, he's still comfortably ahead in workers, but his army is on par, and maybe even a little bit worse, purely because he just does not have that tech. So we are going to see Forsaken being able to push in here quite comfortably and not have that big of an issue. There are a lot of Banelings here, and there are a lot of centrifugal hooked Banelings. However, oh, Widow Mines. Widow Mines are pretty good units. And they just killed off about a good chunk of Calm's army. Now, of course, Calm does still have enough army to push in here, and he will be going after Marines here, but some good Marine splits will allow Forsaken to live with a healthy chunk of his Marines. And Calm's going to be forced back to his base. We are going to see another round of Mutalisks coming out, and again, I don't agree with this decision. I mean, I guess it might work out for him, but the thing is that he's not using these Mutalisks how he should be using these Mutalisks. He's not using them to fly around and snipe shit. He's trying to use them to fight off everything else. He does manage to pick off a medevac, which is nice. However, his Mutalisks are going to fly right into his opponent, and there are going to be quite a few of them going down here. That was some interesting juking from Calm. If he had just juked back, he would have lost maybe 1 Mutalisk, but the way he did that, he lost 4 or 5, and that's really not... That's damage you can take, but it's not at all damage he wants to take. You never want to be in a situation where you're just throwing away Mutalisks. That's always a bad move. And it looks like we are going to have the army from Forsaken moving in right now. And some nice Marine splits yet again, man. Forsaken is just kicking ass with these Marine splits. Oh, the entire army is forced on those Widowmines. Those Widowmines do take an exceedingly high amount of damage. We do have some burrowed Banelings here. Did he notice them burrowing? I hope he did. He should have noticed them burrowing, but I'm not confident. Alright, it looks like they are going to be waiting for the primary chunk of the army to go off. We have 6 Marines in a medevac dropship moving over here. It looks like they are going to be moving here to the right side and just denying that 5th base, an extremely important base to deny. Alright, so the burrowed Banelings did go off there. Did not kill a single thing. Those were probably the most useless burrowed Banelings I've ever seen. We do have some Widowmines finally getting into position here, and that is a dangerous position. They are not going to get a good hit off. He does manage to kill off 1 Zergling, but of course that is not what you want from a Widowmine. And now we are going to have these Zerglings actually being forced from the Widowmines. Wow. Actually, this army from Forsaken doing just the right amount of poking where he doesn't lose too much of it, but he doesn't force them back from his Widowmines, which is an extremely important portion which is an extremely important thing for his army to do now. For Forsaken, he's going to get a large section of his army sniped off right now. There are now a good enough amount of Mulisks where they can actually be good. Yeah, that's one hell of a sentence. Again, I really think he should be transitioning over to something other than Mulisks. I mean, having a nice pack of Mulisks is good for sniping off those medevacs after the fight happens. However, having a pack of Mulisks that you actually try to use for engagements like he did right there never ends well, because you cannot trade cost effectively with a Marine ball supported by medevacs. You can't. You cannot at all trade cost efficiently. You can't even really trade cost efficiently with just a ball of Marines unless you have an exceedingly high amount of Mutalisks. Because at a certain point, Mutalisks actually hit like that area where they do so much damage that it doesn't matter, but that point is really high up in the air and it requires quite a few upgrades. We are going to see Forsaken actually wasting quite a few Banelings. I think he wasted 2 or 3 Banelings, which is always a nice play. You know, it's a small play, but it's a good one to pull off. And we are going to have Forsaken just continuing to push up here, and really, he needs to get something higher than Marines going. I mean, Marine Widowmine's going to be good for a while, but as soon as some level of something else comes up, he's going to be in a dangerous position. Maybe some Ultras coming in would really force him to do something like this. However, we are going to see this engagement happening, and Forsaken's actually just going to get picked off here yet again. I mean, even with good Marine splitting, his opponent just has that extra base on him, and that extra base is going to be the thing that ends him. We do have quite a few Mulisks going down here to a ball of Marines yet again, but he does manage to save off his 5th base, which is extremely important because it really allows Calm to make whatever the hell trades he wants to make. As Forsaken is kind of forced to try to play defensively, but the issue is that he just does not have the amount of units he needs to force his way through Calm's attacks, and he does not have the cost-effective units he needs to force his way through Calm's attacks. We do finally have an Infestation Pit going down, and wow, I didn't realize he was on Layer Tech. This is... What? Calm. You were on 5 bases and you were still on Layer Tech, dude? Come on. Get that 3-3 going. Oh, that's depressing. He doesn't even have any upgrades for his Mutalisks. This is actually a pretty big issue for Calm. I'm surprised. I would have expected him to be at a much higher level. We have a lot of Banelings going down there to kill off a few Widowmines, which can be cost effective or it can be extremely cost ineffective, depending on how much damage those Widowmines are actually going to get done in the fight. And who the hell knows how much damage those Widowmines are going to get done in the fight. It looks like we are going to have the Mutalisks from Calm swinging in here. He might have the amount where he can beat back this Marine force, but I don't think so. I mean, it's a small force of Marines, but the thing about those medevacs is that they can really buffer the amount of damage that Mulisks do to just their first bounce. Their second bounce and their third bounce don't have a lot of effect past a certain amount of medevacs per unit. I think it's like 1 medevac for every 2 or 3 units. And suddenly you're in that situation. It looks like we are going to have a large amount of these medevacs getting sniped right now. However, the Mulisks are going to get damaged at the same time. And here we have another front of Marines moving in here. And it looks like his Mulisks are really just going right for those medevacs. Not a horrible decision. However, the issue is that if he goes too far into his opponent's terrain, he ends up just losing Mulisks all over the place, and that is not a loss he wants to take. It looks like he's going to be going for a straight heads-on engagement with Marines, and again, that is never a cost-efficient endeavor. Oh, what is he doing? Why? Oh my god, he's just sacrificing Mulisks at this point. I mean, his Mulisk count has been cut in half, and that is not something that you want to happen. It looks like he is going to be swinging into what may be the main base? Where are these Mulisks going? No, they're going to be going right for that third now. They're gonna turn around. They're going to see the missile turret and run the hell away. It looks like the fifth base was eventually sniped. Could have called that one out, but, you know, I didn't. I figured you guys were watching the minimap better than I was. I was really focused on the battles. You know, I like to yell at stuff and talking about a base going down. It's not really worth yelling about. So anyway, we are going to have a small drop happening in the main base right now. Not doing too much damage back there. Didn't snipe off any tech really. And the infestation pit is here. There are no enduring locusts yet. Is the hive coming? No, the hive is still not coming. I mean, Calm, he's really losing this game now that he's just sitting at Mulisks. And this is the danger that I'm talking about. Is that if you stay at Mulisks for long enough, eventually they're gonna bite you in the ass, because you're gonna have an engagement like that where you just try to send your Mulisks right up the middle, and it's not gonna happen. Because at a certain point, Mulisks lose a lot of their ability to actually do damage. Especially considering the fact that these Mulisks are not upgraded at all, and that's such an important thing, because you can split off Mulisks to deal with drops, but they don't do an amazing amount of damage. It looks like we are going to have a medevac maybe getting sniped here. Will it get to the main base? Oh, no. Man, that medevac was like... That was like the dramatic ending to a military movie where the medevac's burning in hot and then it just dies. And it's like, oh, man. There were 3 days of it. Looks like we are going to have a few of these Widow Mines getting sniped off, and that's always important for Calm to pull off. However, he is losing Swarm Hosts actually all over the place. And again, still not getting that hive. Still not getting air upgrades. It's so bad, but he just is failing to get them. And it looks like we are going to have a small amount of units from Calm coming up here. He is going to be doing quite a bit of damage to this fourth base. However, I don't think it's going to be a whole ton. I don't think it's going to be deadly for Forsaken. It's going to be annoying, but nothing like what he's been pulling off and dealing to Calm. Because Calm is down to 2 mining bases right now, really. 2 effective mining bases. And actually, Forsaken's kind of down to like 1.5. And actually, both of them still have their pocket expansions. I think that Forsaken will have a better chance holding his just because he doesn't have to deal with drops. He just has to deal with Mutalisks Grumbys. And honestly, a few missile turrets versus 0-0 Mutalisks is going to be enough to save him perfectly fine. It looks like we are going to have this this 5th base from Calm potentially getting sniped right here. Yeah, it will go down without too much of an issue. Oh my god! Oh, never mind. I was completely wrong. I called that way too early. I mean, you know, I figured 100 health was a good point to call, but apparently it is way too early. So we are going to have this engagement coming out from Calm, and he will be rolling through again onto this 4th base and just being super annoying, but man, it is not easy to call who's ahead right now. I mean, Calm's definitely doing a good job of keeping his opponent down in bases, and that's extremely important. I mean, Forsaken's broke right now. Like, Forsaken is completely broke. He's dropping mules onto these last few mineral patches, but as soon as these mineral patches are done, there's no more econ from him, especially with that orbital command going down. Ouch! Oh, Forsaken really needs to hold on to that one, but he just didn't. It looks like we are going to have another patrol of Marines heading down here. And will it be enough? 3 Widow Mines going down. Will they burrow in time? Burrow, please, God. Oh, Widow Mines, no. Oh, the Widow Mines are going to go down before they can burrow, and that is horrible. It looks like we are going to have Marines managing to snipe off the banelings without taking too much damage, just the stim damage that they had to get, you know, to get away from them. But they will not be able to take an engagement because there are no medevacs right now. Are there any medevacs on the field anywhere? Anywhere. There's 1 medevac on the field somewhere. And it looks... Where's that medevac? Where's this medevac? There's 1 mysterious medevac somewhere on the map, but I have no idea where it is. And it looks like we are going to have quite the hefty Marine force from Forsaken just moving around right now. He will be reestablishing that 4th base, which means that his eco can get up and running again. He does not need to be mining gas anymore. He really does not need to be mining gas anymore at all for any reason whatsoever. However, he's still mining gas because, you know, he's a Terran player. And, I mean, with this SCV influx to this base, he should be able to get his eco up and running to a reasonable rate again. I don't think the Zerg player will be able to see this and snipe it off fast enough. He probably knows it's coming. I'm not sure if he knows it's in there yet. And it depends. I mean, he hasn't moved up there yet. And honestly, these Marines have been staying in a very safe position to kind of ward off the Zerg player from going up there. But honestly, at this point, that layer is killing me. If Calm just went for a hive and went for some level of high-tech units, Forsaken would have nothing. Literally, Calm could just build like 3 Ultralisks and a move, and Forsaken would have nothing he could do about it. Literally nothing. I mean, Calm's hurting for economy too, but I mean, he could take this base without an issue. I don't know why neither of them have taken their pocket expansion yet. It's an interesting choice. I would have preferred them taking their pocket expansion as their 4th base, maybe their 5th, but honestly, that is just such a safe expansion to take. I don't know why neither of them have done it yet. It's driving me mad. I mean, you can get the hook around, but for a Zerg player, that's not really a danger. You can just spread overloads. For a Terran player, it's not really a danger. You can just put up some missile turrets and maybe a wall, like right there, and suddenly the hook around's done. Because there's no Zergling run-bys, there's no Mutalisk play. That can really happen. We are going to have quite a few Mutalisks from Calm moving out right now, and it looks like these SCVs will be sacrificed to the great Mutalisk gods. That's not a great choice by Forsaken. However, he will be able to actually pin the Mutalisks up right now, and if he can stem forward right here, he might be able to pick off a few of them. No, not quite. However, the Mutalisk numbers are still dwindling, and that is always a danger for Calm. If you look at the other unit numbers, he does have quite a few Banelings, and he is going to be rolling right into the 5th base, but they will be seen, and it looks like that drop coming in at the perfect time to prevent these Banelings from going in. Oh my god, the Banelings just sacrificing themselves onto the body of those Marines. It looks like these Marines are going to be fighting off the Mutalisk. Mutalisk counts severely depleted. However, this engagement from Calm is just too good, and Forsaken plummeting in supply at this point. Wow, this is a really tight game. I know it looks like Calm's pretty far ahead, but the thing is that his upgrades and his economy is not near, or his upgrades are not near on the level that Forsaken's in, and his economy is pretty close. I mean, they're both on 1 base economies right now, and actually Calm's is a little bit weaker. He does not have nearly the same amount of things mining at that 1 base, and it looks like, oh my god, is he going to be coming in and sniping this base off? He might pull it off. It looks like this base might fall here, and it will fall. And it looks like Forsaken sacrificing a lot of units for that. Will he be able to build up the units to actually fight off this counterattack before he dies? That's the huge question. He has killed off the final mining base from Calm. Calm will be forced to long-range mine for a while, because there's not going to be enough minerals in here. He's gonna have to long range mine 30 minerals before he can actually get this base up and running. And it looks like Forsaken is gonna be losing a lot here. Does he have the numbers in Marines? The medevac's gonna be swooping back in. He has about 10 Marines. Oh my god, this is a crazy fucking ending. It looks like these Mutalisks will be going down, and oh my god. Forsaken taking it. 25 supply versus 53. Oh, Calm. Literally, if you had built a hive at any point in that game and gotten 3 Zerglings with adrenal glands, game would have been fucking over. But you wasted so much time. Like, if we just look at resources lost, it's not even close. It is absolutely not even close. The Zerg player lost 20,000 more resources than his opponent. And literally 1,000 of those would have saved him the game if he had gone for a hive and if he had gone for higher tech and just played defensively for like a minute and then just gone full out aggression. But he couldn't roll back his army for long enough to actually pull that off. And he lost because of it, I think. I honestly, that is why I would pin up Calm's game to a loss. So anyway, guys, if you want more Boisterous action, head on over to youtube.com/BoisterousSC2. If you would like your games commented, send them on into boisteroussc2@gmail.com. And that's basically all I have for callouts right now. So anyway, guys, this is Boisterous, signing out.